Hey y'all, it's Raheel. I recently renewed my home and car insurance, and let me tell you, the process was exhausting. From filling out the same information multiple times to the endless spam calls, I was done. Well, that process is easier now. Coverage Cat is a better way to buy your car, home, and renter's insurance. You fill out one online form, they compare dozens of carriers to find your best policy, and you skip the sales calls. They'll do it all for you. Learn more and get your free optimized insurance quote today at coveragecat.com. Houston is popping this summer with concerts, plays, and tons of things to do at night. But where can you go to grab a great late night bite after an event? Today on Food Tuesday, Houston writer Olivia Flores Alvarez is getting us ready to stay out late with a list featuring some of the best after-hour restaurants from around the 713. It's Tuesday, July 11th, 2023. I'm Raheel Ramzanali, and here's what Houston's talking about. Olivia, welcome back into CityCast Houston. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm surviving the Houston heat, so I think I'm on the good side, yes.
Of course. I haven't forgotten. We can only reach you during working hours during the summer heat wave, right? Like, that's right. Only the cool hours. So yes. I got you, Olivia. All right. Before we get to our list of late night spots in Houston, what is your favorite late night activity? Like, when are you out and about going to these restaurants?
Well, I'm married to a musician. And worse than that, can I say worse than that? Yes. I'm married to a salsa musician. So I'm used to, my partner coming home at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm used to those concerts not even starting until 1 in the morning.
Wow.
So, we're used to the late night stuff. And two, I write about the arts. So I'm always going to concerts and to shows and things. And so we're usually out and about at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning looking for someplace to eat. So my definition of late night eating is 3 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
So this midnight stuff is, that's for amateurs. We're talking about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. If you've got someplace you can eat at 3 or 4 in the morning, that's a late night place. Yeah.
Man, Olivia, you are like legit outside. Okay. Hey, you are there late. I love it. Okay. Before we get to your list, I have one that is near and dear to me. And I actually looked them up the other day. I was like, I want to go to House of Pies a little bit later in the night, and they're no longer open late night. What happened?
Is part of you not crushed? I mean,
Yes.
My whole high school experience and, my whole college experience, my young adulthood was spent at House of Pies because I could count on their 24 hours a day. And now they are not. They close as early as midnight. COVID hit, and when everybody shut down, as they started to come back up, they were on restrictions as to how many people they could have, how many hours they could have. And, a lot of folks just really found that they could not get customers in the door at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning anymore. And more than that, they could not get staff into the door. So just the lingering effects of COVID. And remember, too, that all those food delivery places, those services, changed it up.
Yeah, that changes it up. Look, a Bayou Goo pie, it just hits different at 2 in the morning.
It is.
It just, it's so good 24/7, but at 2 in the morning, there's something special about it. So, hopefully they'll open back up after midnight, but hey, shout out to House of Pies. All right, let's get into your list. You've got some good restaurants here that are open late after midnight. So if you're out and about going to a concert, or if you're enjoying the city and you want to grab something that's not fast food, give me some places, Olivia. Go.
So first off on my list is Mize on Milam, classic place. And it is more than that, more than having been just, a real staple in the Houston scene. Anthony Bourdain called it some of the best Vietnamese food in the country, if not the best. And that's good enough recommendation, I think, for anyone. So Mize started in 78, and Anna Pham, who is the manager now, is the granddaughter of the original owners. And she, like her mom did before her, really tries to keep the food consistent and authentic while also just really accommodating a contemporary and ever-changing clientele. And that's really a difficult balancing act, but Mize has it perfected.
Yes.
So the menu includes all the classic Vietnamese dishes that you would expect, spring rolls, pho, noodle bowls, all kinds of things that you would expect. But they also have some stuff that I don't find everywhere else, such as Vietnamese fajitas and curry chicken stew and a lotus root salad.
Ooh, that sounds so good. You know, the best thing about Mize is they are so good at dealing with that late night crowd, because let's be honest, that crowd can be a little rowdy and a little crazy at times, but they're so consistent and it's always fast as well. So that's good. If you're out and about, you want to get home after a late night, you just want to get your food and go, it's perfect.
Yeah. Now they can be on the pricey side.
Yes.
The grilled shrimp fajitas are about $30 a person. But in general, you're looking at about $25 a person for some of the best Vietnamese food in the country. So along with the 3 a.m. closing on weekends, Mize is hand down my first choice.
Nice. I love it. What about your second choice?
That's a taco place called La Calle, which means the street. The one that I go to is over off of Ella Boulevard. There are 3 locations here in Houston, and they have different hours because of the different locations and stuff. But the one on Ella is open on weekends until 3 a.m.
What do you get there?
Oh, I get the tacos. I get the street tacos, which is 5 little corn tortillas. These are Mexico City street style tacos. So these are small corn tortillas and a variety of stuffing. And Calle is situated on a 5-block stretch of Ella. And I think there are like 18 fast food places on this 5-block stretch. It's just jammed with kind of burgers, all kinds of pizza, chicken joints, everything. And then they've also got a Gatlin's barbecue and Shipley's and some other things that are sit downs. But Gaia stands out even in that very, very physically crowded strip because everything is fresh. They have a motto: no freezer, no microwave, no cans.
Wow.
So it has a short menu. It basically tacos, tortas, elote, which is corn, chicharrones, fried pork rings, and ceviche. There's also a really great bar, margaritas, Mexican beer, other drinks, and you can also get aguas frescas, so that, depends on the day, and horchata. And I don't know if you've ever had coffee with horchata.
Oh, I haven't. I've just had horchata, but not with coffee. That's a good call.
Yeah, so that's one of their little treasures. And the decor is really kind of a Mexico City vibe. It's very colorful. It's very functional. It's TV screens showing movies from the Mexico Golden Era and popular telenovelas. That's always one of my favorite parts. And they've got great happy hours. They last from 3 to 7 every day. They've got daily specials, and the daily specials are both for food and for drinks.
I love it.
Yeah. Taco Tuesdays, tacos at $1.69 a piece. You cannot beat that.
And it's open till midnight on weeknights and 3 a.m., as you mentioned, on weekends. So again, hits the late night spot and you get fresh food. I love that one. Okay, when I think of late night foods, I'm thinking of a classic diner, like a coffee shop. You got to have something good here for me.
Absolutely, absolutely. I've got Dot's Coffee Shop, 24 hours a day. Thank you. And it's off of I-45 South at Woodridge. Dot's is one of the first offerings by the Papas family, and it has been around for years and years and years. It's got a real classic mid-century vibe. From the food to the decor, everything. You walk in the door and you are back a couple of decades. Breakfast at Dot's is eye-popping. Breakfast platters that include ribeye steak, chicken fried steak, fried catfish, and pork chops, along with all the eggs and the hash browns and pancakes, everything else you can use. They've got giant omelets, pancakes, French toast, all the other usual big breakfast call your cardiologist kind of options. But the lunch and the dinner options are also really great. You've got jumbo burgers, classic sandwiches, country fried chicken, fried shrimp, wings, other diner staples, all with really generous sides.
Ooh, that's the perfect spot right there.
Yeah, generous sides of home style vegetables and salads and everything else. But you cannot go to Dots without trying their desserts. These are all made in-house and delicious. And I swear they've got somebody who is in a little time warp in the back making these. I recommend the banana cream pie, but pecan pie will also take your breath away. Ooh. The carrot cake is excellent. They've got, of course, cheesecakes and other key lime pies, all that kind of thing. If you want to splurge on dessert, try the old-fashioned banana split. It is an instant trip back to the 1950s and happiness.
We don't eat enough banana splits anymore. It's such a classic. It hits the spot. I think we need more banana splits. And I'm glad that Dot still does a good banana split. All right. So we've hit the diner. We've hit some really fresh food. We've hit Mize, which is, nation renowned now. I need just a classic Tex-Mex spot, okay, for your fourth pick.
Okay. Chacho's.
Yes.
This is a 24-hour drive-through, but the dining room does close at night. Depending on the night, it will close at a different time. The one that I frequent that's 24 hours a day is off of Northwest Freeway at Tidwell. And I think you can see it like 2 or 3 exits beforehand because it's this bright turquoise building. It just kind of is neon. They started Chacho's about 30 years ago now, and they are now a 7-location chain across the San Antonio and Houston area. This is fresh food. All of it's made from scratch. All of it is made in small batches. So that means that the rice or guacamole on your plate was probably made within the hour.
Wow. For a late night spot, that is really good. And
yes.
You know what my favorite thing about Chacho's is? Their queso. They're like, hey, here's some queso on top of your food just for fun.
Just for fun.
Yeah, they really play into the Tex-Mex angle of the food, right? There's a lot of cheese, and the cheese is so fresh and so good. Oh, Chacho's hits the spot every time, no matter if you're going there at 5 a.m. because you got work, or you're getting there at 3 a.m. because you've been out all night. Chacho's is the place. And they give you greasy bags, right, Olivia? That's a good sign.
That's a good sign, yes.
That's a really good sign.
I think you're talking about the Macho King Kong nachos, and that is, of course, the mountain of chips and cheese and every meat topping they ever had. Their burritos are also part of what make those, paper bags so greasy. You can get your choice of meat with, and I start to sound like a Saturday Night Live skit here, with rice and beans and lettuce and tomato and cheese and guacamole and sour cream and everything else. Now you can get those 2 ways. You can get them sloppy, which means covered in queso, or spicy chili sauce, or you can get them double sloppy, queso and chili sauce. The meat is something you really get your choice of here. You've got steakhouse beef as well as house fajitas, and they sell the steakhouse beef, house fajitas, and barbacoa by the pound, all the trimmings, for 24 hours a day with great drinks that are also made fresh and in small batches. Chacho's really earns its spot on this list.
Absolutely. And they've got some of the best breakfast tacos. Their breakfast tacos hit the spot. Okay, Olivia, I need one more spot. All right, come on, give me something that really captures late night food, right? Because when I was in New York City, one of the best things is you're out and there's always pizza places open, right? You grab a slice, you're walking home, you're walking back to the hotel. There's got to be a place here in Houston.
There is. Frank's Pizza on Travis checks that spot on the list. They are open until 3 a.m. on the weekends, on Thursday, 1 a.m. The great thing about Frank's Pizza is that when you walk in there, it's just this little strip of a building. It's just crowded. And it has kind of a New York, pizzeria vibe to it. You never know who else you're going to meet in there. All the musicians are getting off of work. They're coming in there. They're picking up a piece of pie before they go home. all of the performers are in there because the theater center is just down the street. So you've got a wide variety of people you probably saw on stage a few minutes ago, standing next to you in line at Frank's. Great pizza. My wife used to drag me in there at 3 a.m. And I was kind of like, really? We're going to stop for pizza at 3 a.m. Okay. And so the first time we went in there and I was like, oh, we're going to stop for pizza at 3
Yes.
a.m. This is great. So it's really, a staple. It's a landmark kind of place. And if you don't go to Frank's at least a couple of times a year, you're really missing out because they've got great pizza.
And that's so funny you mentioned that you never know who you're going to run into there. One of my favorite parts of going to Frank's is it's almost like the second part of your night where you're going to meet a few people. As you mentioned, you'll run into musicians that you just watched, but just the people watching, meeting people there, it is so much fun. And the crowd just always is fun to watch. It's so much fun at Frank's.
Yes, it's great. It's wonderful.
It is so great. Okay, before I let you go, you're the best at wild cards, okay? I know you have something up your sleeve here for me. Give me a wild card place that is a spot for late night eats here in Houston.
Shipley's has a 24-hour location. Yes. And this is way out on Westheimer, and I don't care. I'm willing to drive out there and get my Shipley's at 2 and 3 in the morning. There's not a lot of choices on the menu, but they're all Shipley donuts, whatever they are. So it's worth the stop.
Olivia, the great thing about this Shipley Donuts is this is the one that does the beignets. So if they are making it depends. Yes. Sometimes they don't do it late nights, but they do have beignets on the menu. And I've mentioned this before on the podcast, the best beignets you'll get in the city. And they hit the spot. So I love that you mentioned this particular Shipley Donuts right there, Westheimer and Dairy Ashford. Oh, that's such a good spot. And a little bit, it's on the west side, but come on, make the drive. It's worth it.
It is. It is absolutely worth it. That staff over there is killing themselves making fresh donuts, all night long. Go by, say hi, and then chomp down on your beignet.
I love it. Olivia, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for all of these great recommendations. We're going to be out and enjoying these late night spots. Thank you again.
Thank you. Always good to be with you.
That was Olivia Flores Alvarez. You can read her work in Outsmart magazine. Before we go, 713-281-832 and 346 area codes are second nature to us here in Houston. But another area code is coming by 2025 because we're running out of numbers, according to the North American Number Planning Administration. Yes, that's a real administration. We're roughly at 7.34 million people in the greater Houston area, so it makes sense that we're running out of 10-digit phone numbers. Now, if you have an area code in mind, you can actually submit it to the Public Utility Commission of Texas online by August 5th. I've linked the entire story in our show notes. That will do it for today. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learned something new.
I called the other day because I just wanted to make sure that they were still open 24 hours a day. And the guy who answered me, poor dude, he was so tired. He was kind of like, yeah, we're still here. He was like, well, making the donuts, yeah, we're still here.